In the vibrant neighborhood of Rocafanda, nestled in the city of Mataro, young Lamine Yamal grew up with dreams as vast as the sky. Born into a family of humble means, he was raised with discipline, love, and an unshakable belief in fairness. From the moment he could walk, a football was always by his side, guiding his steps as if it were an extension of himself. Lamine wasn't just talented, he was special. Even at the tender age of 8, his dribbling was mesmerizing, his footwork effortless. He could control the ball as if it had a mind of its own, weaving past defenders with ease. But while others saw him as a future star, what truly set him apart was his heart. One autumn afternoon, the golden sun casting long shadows across the playground, Lamine and his best friend, Amir, found themselves playing a small-sided match against some older boys. Amir was different from Lamine, not as fast, not as skilled, but just as passionate. What he lacked in ability, he made up for in sheer love for the game. But not everyone appreciated that. Marco, a tall, broad-shouldered 12-year-old, was the self-proclaimed king of the playground. He and his friends often controlled who played and who didn't. They took pleasure in singling out weaker kids, and Amir had become their favorite target. "Why do you even try, Amir?" Marco sneered after Amir had miscontrolled a pass. "You should just watch from the side, where you belong." Amir hesitated, eyes dropping to the ground. "I was just trying to." "Trying to what? Embarrass yourself?" Marco laughed, his friends joining in. The laughter cut through Amir like a blade. Lamine saw his friend shrinking, shoulders slumping. His fists clenched at his sides. "Give him a break, Marco," Lamine said, stepping forward, standing tall. Marco smirked. "Or what, Yamal? You think just because you can dribble, you get to make the rules?" Lamine met his gaze, unafraid. "I think we should settle this with football," he said. "Me against you. If I win, you stop picking on Amir." Marco's face twisted with amusement. "And if I win?" "You can do whatever you want," Lamine said, his voice steady. The kids gasped. Lamine was fast, but Marco was bigger, stronger. He could push Lamine off the ball with ease. But the challenge had been set, and everyone gathered around to watch. Amir tugged at Lamine's sleeve. "You don't have to do this," he whispered. "It's just a game." "No, it's not," Lamine said, eyes never leaving Marco's. "It's more than that." The game began. Marco was aggressive from the start, using his strength, charging at Lamine with heavy tackles, trying to knock him off balance. But Lamine was too quick, too clever. He used his agility, shifting directions in an instant, making Marco chase shadows. The watching crowd gasped as Lamine danced around Marco with ease. Then, with one dazzling move, a double step-over followed by a delicate nutmeg, Lamine slipped the ball through Marco's legs and slotted it past him into the goal. Silence. Then, the playground erupted in cheers. Marco, humiliated, clenched his fists, but he knew the rule: a challenge settled with football was final. With an angry huff, he turned and stormed off. His gang hesitated before following him. Lamine turned to Amir, clapping a hand on his shoulder. "You belong here as much as anyone else," he said. "Never let them tell you otherwise." That day, Amir found his courage, and Marco never bullied him again. Lamine had done more than just win a game, he had stood up for his friend, showing him that fear had no place on the pitch or in life. A future beyond the streets. The years passed, and Lamine's talent caught the attention of scouts. He was invited to train at La Masia, FC Barcelona's legendary academy, where he quickly became a sensation. But even as he climbed the ranks of football stardom, he never forgot the boy who had stood beside him in the dusty streets of Mataro. Amir, on the other hand, had taken a different path. While Lamine flourished, Amir's confidence never truly recovered. He drifted from football, struggling with self-doubt. Without his childhood friend beside him, he let fear dictate his choices, fading into the background while Lamine's name shone in the headlines. One evening, as Lamine sat in his dormitory at La Masia, he scrolled through his messages. A familiar name appeared on the screen. "Lamine, it's been a long time. I need your help." Lamine's heart skipped a beat. He immediately called back.
Amir. It's been ages. What's wrong? Lamine asked, concern lacing his voice.
There was a long pause before Amir responded.
I don't know, man. I feel lost. I thought I could do it, football, life, but every time I try, I hear Marco's voice in my head, telling me I'm not good enough. I watch you on TV, and I think, maybe I should have never tried in the first place.
Lamine clenched his fist.
Amir, listen to me. Marco was wrong. He was always wrong. And you? You were never meant to sit on the sidelines. Amir sighed. But I already gave up. I don't even play anymore. It's too late.
It's never too late, Lamine said firmly.
Come to Barcelona. Stay with me. Train with me. If you think you're done, then prove it to me on the pitch. Silence stretched between them before Amir finally whispered, Do you really think I still have a chance? Lamine grinned. You won't know until you try. Amir hesitated. What if I fail?
Then you try again, Lamine said.
Like we always did back in Rocafonda. Like I did when I faced Marco. Like you did when you didn't let him break you. You are not that scared kid anymore, Amir. Come and prove it. And just like that, fate had given Amir one more chance.
Lamine wasn't just standing up for him this time, he was pulling him back into the game.
Amir arrived in Barcelona 3 days after his conversation with Lamine.
His heart pounded as he stepped off the train at Sant Station, gripping the strap of his worn-out duffel bag.
The city's bright lights, the towering buildings, and the rhythmic energy of the people all felt overwhelming.
But more than that, he felt like an outsider.
He wasn't here as a footballer, not anymore.
He was just a man trying to reclaim something he had lost. Lamine was already waiting for him outside the station, leaning against a sleek black car. He broke into a grin the moment he spotted Amir. You look like you just saw a ghost, Lamine joked, pulling his childhood friend into a tight hug.
Welcome to Barcelona, hermano.
Amir chuckled nervously.
It's a lot to take in. Lamine didn't waste time. He took Amir to his apartment, a spacious yet cozy place overlooking the city skyline.
That night, as they sat on the balcony sipping tea, Lamine got straight to the point.
You never stopped loving football, did you? He asked. Amir hesitated. I don't know. I stopped playing a long time ago. It feels like a different life.
Lamine leaned forward, his expression serious.
You told me that every time you try, you hear Marco's voice in your head. But you know what I hear when I play?
I hear the sound of us kicking the ball in Rocafonda. I hear the cheers from the kids when we won those small matches.
I hear you, right beside me. That's the voice you need to remember.
Amir looked down at his hands.
What if I'm not good anymore?
Lamine smirked.
Only one way to find out. The next morning, Lamine took Amir to a private training facility.
It was empty except for a few La Masia youth players finishing up their session. The moment Amir stepped onto the pitch, his body tensed.
He wasn't a kid anymore. He wasn't an athlete anymore.
But when Lamine rolled a ball toward him, something clicked. Go on, Lamine encouraged.
Show me what you've got. Amir took a deep breath.
He started with a simple pass back to Lamine.
Then another. Then a dribble. He felt awkward, slow, rusty. But Lamine kept pushing him. Again. They trained for an hour. Then 2. Then 3.
Sweat poured down Amir's face, but something inside him was waking up. The feeling of the ball at his feet, the rhythm of movement, it was all still there, buried beneath years of doubt.
After an intense session, they sat on the grass, exhausted. You're not bad, Lamine said with a teasing grin. Amir chuckled between heavy breaths. I feel like I got hit by a truck. You'll get used to it. Lamine tossed him a bottle of water. Listen, I have a proposal.
There's a local amateur team looking for players.
It's nothing serious, just a way to get you back in shape. Play for them. See how it feels. Amir hesitated. I don't know, man. Playing at this level? I'll just embarrass myself. Lamine's eyes hardened. Do you remember what I told Marco back in Rocafonda? That you belong on the pitch as much as anyone else? That hasn't changed. Amir swallowed. Lamine's words brought back memories of that day, the way he had stood up for him. And now, he was doing it again. All right, Amir said finally. I'll do it. Facing the past. The first few weeks were tough. Amir struggled to keep up with the younger, more conditioned players. He made mistakes, he fumbled passes, and sometimes, he felt like quitting. But every time doubt crept in, Lamine was there. Again. You're better than this. Keep pushing. Slowly, Amir started to improve. He regained his first touch, his passing accuracy, his confidence. And then, one evening after training, Lamine received a message from an old contact. Hey, there's an open trial for a semi-pro team next month. Think your friend is ready? Lamine turned to Amir with a smirk. You up for the challenge? Amir froze. A trial? For a real team? His stomach twisted, but deep down, he knew what his answer had to be. Let's do it. The final test. The day of the trial was nerve-wracking. Amir stood among dozens of hopeful players, all younger, fitter, hungrier. But Lamine pulled him aside before he stepped onto the pitch. Remember who you are, Lamine said. Remember why you're here. Amir nodded, taking a deep breath. The trial began. Amir played his heart out. He made crisp passes, controlled the midfield, and even set up a goal. He wasn't the best player on the field, but he was proving something to himself. After the session, the coach approached him. You've got potential, he said. We'd like to see more of you. Amir turned to Lamine, eyes wide with disbelief. Did that just happen? Lamine grinned. Told you it wasn't too late. Amir laughed, shaking his head. You never stopped believing in me, did you? Not for a second. Lamine had stood up for him as a child. Now, as an adult, he had guided him back to the game they both loved. And as they left the pitch that day, Amir knew this was just the beginning.